Welcome to the NOWT. Well, I'll tell you, this is pretty intense. Here we are live. Welcome to everyone. It is the NOWT Power Hour, and there is Danny and Nick Huckson.
If anyone's wondering right now, we just took a board off, and here we are. We got a fish hooked up.
We're about 10 feet away.
10 feet out. We got a fish on in beautiful Lake Huron. So this isn't really how we plan to start the NOWT Power Hour here, but oh boy, we got Scottie, it's a giant.
No,
it's a giant.
No,
running Livingston 111s here. Oh my God. So we're gonna try and do this on camera here. This is this was complete freak. We were sitting backstage, and all of a sudden we yelled, "Board down! Let's go live! Hurry up!" So here we are. If you can see that, we got a beautiful walleye on an EBS 111, and we're gonna scoop with no screw ups.
Oh wow!
You want to talk about the NOWT Power Hour? Here it is.
Oh, are we even gonna get a chance to talk? This is incredible. Look, oh, what a gorgeous fish!
There we go.
Oh wow!
Welcome everyone. Today's a week of the NOWT Power Hour. We're catching 28-inch walleyes live on camera.
And now we get to release her.
Now we get to release it.
This is a happy Walleye Wednesday, Dan. Thanks so. Oh wow! Okay, folks, and that's our show.
Yes, may as well. We jumped right into it. You want to show them what we got that on, Danny?
If you guys can see that or not.
Beautiful color.
So what that is that's a Livingston EBS 111. It's a bait I'm helping to help design with Livingston Lures. What's cool about that is it's got something called EBS technology in it. I've been praising that a lot in a lot of my lives and my social media stuff. And what it is Livingston's actually taken bait fish, natural bait fish. They put them under distress and they've recorded the sounds they made. So each one of these baits, they pulse it and actually emit natural bait sounds. So when they have the rattles in them, just like any traditional crankbait. But also these are emitting natural baitfish sounds. So that's what we're using. They're replicating perch, shad, smelt, and many other live forages. So we got that's what we're pulling. That was caught on 50 feet back with a Livingston. So we got Danny's throwing on his planer board right now.
Already.
That's awesome. And that bait and many others are available through GFW distributions. I'm assuming, Nick?
Well, we don't sell direct to the public, like I was explaining before, but any of your local dealers, please ask them. Like I'll get in touch. Anyone in Ontario or Quebec can get in touch with us for their local dealers, and we more than happy to take any orders and get these baits in your hands right away.
That's awesome. Well, tonight's special guest, is going to be Crystel Vallée, and we are going to have her come up and talk all about NOWT, MFN fishing, and everything metogamy right after a word from your sponsor, Nick J. GFW Distributions. There she is, the one and only Crystel. How you doing?
I am good. Thank you very much.
Well, welcome. And I see shit show coordinator of MFN Fishing. Love it. And folks, listen, if you have never seen Crystel in action, all I can say is it's worth the price of admission. If in fact, just shut off your mic, Danny. Yeah, there you go. Good job. If you ever see her in action, it's a blur. Usually there's a little bit of smoke, some lightning, but it's an absolute blur because when the event is going on, Crystel is 110 miles an hour in all directions. And you know what? And I'm not even a participant or an angler, but I thank you for all the work that you do.
Thanks, Scottie. And I know what you mean. You've been in the championship, and oh man, did we try to get together and try to do something? It was just chaos. That's why I'm like shit show coordinator. This is something I've seen one day, and it is what it is. I am not somebody that is sugarcoat anything. This is how I talk. This is how I do things when it's tournament time. It's just another environment. And you can't just think stuff gonna do it by itself. I have an amazing team. I wish Jessica was going to be here tonight, but I know she has lots going on too. Maybe she'd join later, but we'll see. But
Right.
For sure, it is a challenge. It is all over the place, but loving it because I'm not just in monogamy. So there you go. That gives you an idea how much I have a passion for the tournament.
100%. And I will bring in Nick and Danny who can reaffirm, maybe add a few comments, but the suggestion is obvious. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, without organizers like Crystel and various other teams and venues that are part of the NOWT, none of this happens. And as an angler that comes to an event, you're prepping, you're paying gas, you're getting your stuff ready, you're in tournament mode. Whereas you can do that because you have organizers like Crystel and Jessica doing their thing behind the scenes. Nick and Danny, tell us how important that is to have folks like Crystel doing their thing.
I've mentioned it every single one of our lives, to thank I personally reach out and thank the volunteers at the end of the live. It is an honor to be able to fish their events. They put so much time and so much energy and so much blood, sweat, and tears literally into doing these events. Like Crystel runs some of the best organized events in the world. She's not taking anything away against or away from any of the other events, but just because we have Crystel on the line, she has runs monogamy. Like you've seen at the championship last year, there is no way that I don't even understand. Like if I were to nitpick and pick apart that tournament and the way it was organized and the way it all fell together, and even the spring event, there is not many holes that you can poke into that program. It is as ironclad as you can get. Everything from the takeoffs to the weigh-ins to the dinner that they provide the anglers, to the stages set up, the seats are set up. We just walk in and pretty much they make us feel like we own the show, but really at the end of the day, they do absolutely everything. It's incredible to be part of that. And Danny even wants to.
I'll just say ditto that sentiment. No, I'm just kidding. We absolutely love, especially when it comes to monogamy with Crystel and Jess, the stuff they've done just personally, the stuff they've helped us with and how they make you feel comfortable. You can reach out to them at any time and they'll help anybody out, and especially with accommodations and just setting yourself up that way. It's just a great asset, and thanks again.
Well, thanks again, you two, for joining us. At the end of the day, not only are you catching fish, but I do believe you have a few in the live well already to take home.
Yeah, we got a couple little ones there just for a snack, but we've caught a bunch of fish tonight. Released a pile. It was cool. We were up before the live. We were jumped on the bow, both of us, and we were able to live scope them and pitch glide baits to them. And we thumped
secret weapon.
Yeah, the new we're testing out a new bait, and it's it blew my mind a little bit already. So Danny was pretty impressed with the way it's performing already. So that was neat. Yeah, so it's this is what a lot of people don't see on tournament anglers too. It's not just tournament fishing. We're constantly out here doing stuff. Like, you know, this is the second live I've done in a boat so far. Testing electronics on the first one when we were on the St. Mary's River for prep for Jason Doyen when he was heading out to the when he was heading out to Detroit, to Lake Erie, Lorraine for the National Walleye Tour. And now, I mean, we're out here early season fishing over. We're fishing over 52 feet of water, and it's we're fishing suspended fish, like post spawn suspended fish. So it's a constant. It's a constant evolving to try and get better, and try and understand these fish a little bit better. And so when we put this much time and effort into learning how to break down water and like our practices when we show up to the tournaments, like, and then having Crystel being able to take care of everything and coordinate the shit show, because we're a disaster. So she does a fabulous job at it. I'd like
I agree
to
with that statement.
yeah, like you got a tournament husband, and you understand the what we do, and a lot of times it's people think it's not, it's a cakewalk, but we put hard hours in, and we're dark to dark a lot of times on the water. We come home, we have a quick bite to eat, and we're in bed and do it all over again. So having that is a great that's a great thing for us. It makes it takes that pressure off of us, and we love doing it. Love going to these events. I'd like to, like, Crystel, what drives you to do this? Like, what makes you so passionate about these tournaments? I've never actually asked you that question. We've been friends for a very long time. We've we've butted heads, and but we've always been professional, and we've had, we developed into a beautiful friendship. As well, like Typers is one of my Typers is a tackle shop that Crystel owns. She's become a very good customer of mine, and it's located in Hearst, Ontario. So if anyone's driving through Hearst, please stop in and check out Crystel's shop at Typers. Very beautiful shop. Got a lot of gear, a lot of NXS products too, which is it was great. But what is it that allows you or makes you want to keep doing this for us?
So, to give you the little backstory of where it all started, I don't know if you know the story. I remember back in 2015, Sebastian comes back from the fishing tournament, the spring one, and I used to be in the Hearst Anglers and Hunters Club. I used to be on the NOWT back then, like I think 2012 was the last one, and so we moved to Timmins. Sebastian participated in that tournament, and he's like, Crystel, it was chaos. It was I think something should be done, because when I come into something, I like to update, and I like to do things differently. And anyway, Sebastian comes back. He's like, I talked to Jessica, and I told her you might be interested. So I give Jessica a call, and I'm like, how about, do you need help? I can join your team, and let me help you. She's like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you. And then, okay, let's set up a meeting. We meet in 10 minutes. I'm like, where is everybody? She's like, I'm all by myself. I'm like, are you crazy or what? So so fall 2015, I got in there. I see how it goes and all that, and my mind just doesn't stop. So I'm like, we should do this and we should do that. And Jessica always been really open and really supportive of all the ideas. She really wanted that tournament to be successful, and new ways to do things. So from there, her support fueled me to just do better every time, and seeing how she was so how can I say this? She was so happy of all the results, and seeing the community, and the community that too played a huge part in wanting me to continue. We butt heads sometime. We have I'm not saying it was perfect, but I have to say that since last year and all the support we got to get all that equipment, so that's other things too to keep going, because we have the support from the community. We see the community being happy and bringing everybody together. And I think all the trouble and everything that we went through to get where we were fall 2023 was the pinpoint of all our work. Everything we've seen, like everything we wanted to look like, it was perfect. I have to admit, 2023 fall was, we're going from there, and we're like, how can we do this? How can we top this off? So community and Jessica, and we had other people joining in the board. Again, this year, the NOWT, Nick and Danny are on the board, the NOWT. I left for a little bit, but I think seeing other people being so passionate is just a fuel for me to just continue and just, okay, I'm on the right track. I have bad days. I've seen anglers saying, are you going to update the registration? I'm like, well, I don't feel like it. So you got to have to wait. So.
And at the end of the day, everyone has to realize that you're not paid to do this.
Oh, no.
And seeing what actually, one of the reasons that a lot of people might not know, but me and Crystel, we've talked a lot. She's a client of mine. She's a close friend of mine. She's also in the tournament series. She's not a tournament angler, but like she's part of the tournament community. So she's actually one of the reasons that I stepped on to become an angler at large for the NOWT, because I hear the voices now of being friends with the tournament directors and that back to that community, Scottie, that we talk about every week, and that family that we have. This is the we talk, we'll all grab a beer, we communicate, we're friends. And so thanks, Marilisa. You got me on that one. She tolerates me. Well, they all tolerate me, but Crystel's one of the reasons that I'm actually involved in now on the board level of the NOWT. Just as this is what I see what work she puts in it. If there's 1 ounce of work that I can take off her shoulders to do a little bit more, and I know Danny probably has something to say on that. Like he's involved as well. So we're gonna try and talk through my microphone because we're screwing everything up when we turn his on.
I'm just gonna try and get a word in edgewise. That's about it.
I think you'll be all right.
But I appreciate Nick stepping up, and Danny too, because we needed to revamp a few things. We need to shuffle feathers and.
Well, thank you. Hopefully we can help out. But I do have something to say. Like Nick kind of mentioned that you're not necessarily a tournament angler, but you're involved. But that's not true anymore. You actually are going to be participating in a tournament this year, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be fishing campus casing this year.
I hope you beat me.
I pray to God that I don't get skunked. I'm only asking for 1 fish. That's all I'm asking.
You're crossing over to the dark side now. You're gonna be drawn to that after a while.
Maybe, but that won't be in your advantage if I feel like I should be fishing instead of I organize a tournament. No, I just really want to I had the opportunity to fish cap, and I decided to at least know and understand what you guys are going through in a day. So it is better for me to understand for me to be on the other side. How you feeling throughout the day? What's the pressure? What's the everything that is involved? Is there a better way to do take off, or at the end of the day, or whatever? So if I can't experience it, it's hard for me to change, or so I'm gonna see what it feels.
Just to kind of go back to how like 23 was such a good year for you, and that was actually the final fall event for Matagami. So now it's down to 1 event. You feel that that's going to progress in a better way for the event going forward? You guys can focus your energy on 1 event, or how do you feel about that?
Well, spring always been the one that is most anticipated. That's why we kept spring, and at the same time, we're like, well, if we keep spring, we have the whole summer off, which is not true for me because I still have other. I'm involved in the Long Lac and Hearst, and I will be helping Chantal with D'Iberville, and I also have the family fishing tournament in Hearst with the Hearst Anglers and Hunters Club. I'm looking forward to see how it's gonna go for spring. For sure, we had a weird winter. I will be honest when I say that maybe we should have put more work into spring, but we have a Bible. We keep the Bible, so I don't think the event will be less of what we usually do. But we kind of slacked a little bit, and we were like, it was a tough winter for Jess and I, and but we're still going to show up and hammer down.
Well, Crystal, I have to say, a slack day to you is a full day for some. So yeah, I have to say, I don't know what a slack day looks like in your world, but every time I see you, it brings me back to a memory that we had together. And Jeremy brought this comment up. One of the biggest reasons that I got involved with the Pike tournament, MFN, and the good folks up at the NOWT and all those people up in Matagami is because of what was being done behind the scenes. And it wasn't really well promoted. I think it was new in its inception. But as soon as you mentioned it to me, like, I don't even think you got the rest of the sentence out. The proceeds of the Pike tournament go towards a walleye hatchery that the First Nations Matagami people run. Yeah, I'm there. And here's a little snippet. It takes us back a few years, but it's really cool. And I want to thank my good buddy Red Andel for putting some of this together. Porcupine Search and Rescue and MFN Fishing would like to wish all of you a happy Wednesday! Yeah, baby! Hey guys, it's Walleye Wednesday, and we are here at the Matagami First Nations Pike Derby. People might ask, what are you doing at a Pike Derby if you're talking about Walleye Wednesday? Well, it has a lot to do with the walleye population here in the lake and what the First Nations group here is doing to improve that walleye population through some of the proceeds that go towards this Pike Derby. So as exciting as this Pike Derby has been, one of the real reasons we're up here for Walleye Wednesday is this right here. And I got Chief Chad from the Matagami First Nations, who's going to be explaining the importance of why we have the Pike Derby as well as this hatchery. Chad, tell us a little bit about how this all came to be.
Year after year we have a few Pike Derbies and some pickle derbies within our community we host. So based on that, we've got a lot of support from different organizations to help support our bell jar hatchery. So this hatchery has 12 bell jars to it. We do about 2 to 5 million eggs a year, depending on how good the spawn is. Mm-hmm. And this is something that's supported by the whole community, all the people that fish our lake, all organizations, the local mines, the local tourist outfitters. So this is something that's really well supported by.
Yeah, and although this is a Pike tournament and a Pike Derby that we're here to showcase and profile, another reason why this is so exciting to me is because it involves First Nations, and you recognize the fact that we have to put back into the resource. And I think that is so crucial, especially when it comes to the perceptions of take that you guys are actually putting back into the resource. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, everybody in our area, we require walleye as a sustenance to our survival. It's something that our elders use, all their lives for many, many years. So this is one of the reasons why. There is a lot of impact, First Nations, non-First Nations, tourists, cottagers. So without putting blame, let's all get together and do something that's gonna.
And really, like, you've planted a seed, and I hope that it's possible down the road in the future that other First Nations sort of climb on board with this kind of mindset and start helping putting back. I think this is absolutely fantastic.
We've actually had a couple of First Nations follow suit there. We got Shapiro First Nation. They've started their own bell jar system. We got the Matachewan First Nation. They're in the process of starting their own this year. So it's catching on. People are taking notice to it. They see the success that this brings to their local water bodies. So might as well do something that's going to help, right?
Obviously, the derby ends at 4 o'clock, and then what?
And then we go to the complex, and we're gonna have supper, and people will be hanging with their friends, talking about fishing and stuff. So it's a little gathering at the complex, and then we have the prize ceremony at around 7.
So, guys, yet another successful MFN Pike Derby, and until next year, we'll see you there. Take care.
Oh man,
Brings back a lot of memories, doesn't it, Crystel?
your intro coming in here and seeing this,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
One thing I want to touch on that, Scottie, is I didn't realize this until we had our launch meeting for the Derby coming up. Was the number of walleye you guys they actually produce and release, and I know Crystal could touch on that.
So about the hatchery,
Yeah,
I don't know much about the hatchery. I'm not gonna lie here. I think Jessica's just trying to get in here. I'm not too sure if you see her, Scottie. What?
No, I don't.
No, okay. I'm not too sure. She's like, can I still join in? So the hatchery is still going. Every year Jessica tries to invite me to go help and catch the female, and she really wanted to show me how things are the process of getting the eggs and all that. Unfortunately, it's never been. April and May is my busiest time pretty much, so it's hard for me to leave. I wish I will be able to go one day for sure. And so I'm not too sure. I don't know lots about the hatchery, unfortunately, but I know it's still going. They produce a lot of egg, and it goes back in Matagami. So the lake is healthy, and even having a fishing tournament there, we see sometimes the comments, oh well, you have fish are dying, and I'm not saying I care about any fish that doesn't make it to back into the lake for sure. We have revamped our holding tank with bubbles and fresh water, and we are doing everything we can to release that fish back. And I can very happy to say that 97% of all the fish get released back, but all the fish that doesn't make it back goes back to the elders. Somebody cleans the fish and make sure they get to a good home. So so far we have not seen any how can I say that a decline in fishing. I can actually say though, Pike Derby this year, the biggest was only 8 pounds.
Wow.
So I don't know if walleye is taking over. I am not too sure, but I never seen the year before. I think it was around 7 pounds also. So
I can attest there's still big pike in there.
okay. Just happened that they were
City at the walleye tournaments. There's
okay.
and another thing too is just to touch on, like, with the hatchery and people complaining about, or people mentioning about big fish that are dying, or we're losing some fish. If you look at the actual the data of the tournament anglers, we broke a record. Two teams this year broke records for the heaviest weights in an NOWT event in that format. So if the fisheries are that hard up and that struggling, we shouldn't be breaking records on them, and multiple boats to break the 20-year record this season.
That's awesome. That is truly awesome. And as I said, lots of great things always seem to be happening up north. At least though I seem to find out about it because I have some folks up there that are doing some great things, like Crystel, like Nick, like Danny, and a lot of folks that are a part of the NOWT. But I will say this, None of this happens without some core sponsors, some generous sponsors that buy into what the NOWT is doing. And right now I want to take a second just to thank them. Mercury Outboards, set the water on fire. Prince Craft Boats, celebrating 70 years of boating. J&B Superstore, your adventure awaits. Rackspin, making the outdoors more fun. Eastview Chevrolet to get you there. And Garmin to get you home. And of course, all these generous sponsors. So, Crystel, I have to ask, what is one of the biggest, if there was something that you could change, if there was something that you find tournament to tournament, maybe it's just tournament specific, maybe it's just the event itself where it's located. What are some of the stumbling blocks? What are some of the changes if you could make that you would like to see going forward?
That's a tough one. I believe for each event, everybody's bringing in something different. From Geraldton, which they have the stage outside. Long Lac has the tent. Hearst, we also have the tent with the marina. So everybody's so different. I will not change anything when it comes to that. I think what I would like to change is maybe the attitude.
Okay.
And I'm saying that with I wish that everybody shouldn't that the anglers would still fish even though the forward facing, front facing live transducers. I wish that anglers would not feel as intimidated as they are right now. And I mean the attitude, because I'm going in and cap. I have no chance. I'm not going to pretend that I'm a good angler or I'm going to finish in the top. I'm saying that, watch out. But I am going in because I want to live the experience. I want to fish. I want to compete. And I want to have fun. But we see, meaning the attitude is like, I got no chance. I don't have a live scope. It's stop. I wish that anglers that do not have the live would have a more of a, you know what? I'm going to show you that I don't need a live to catch those fish. Even though maybe the probability of coming in top 10, I'm giving the example. Hearst. A dad and his son fished a tournament. They were the only one in the top 10 without a live scope. And they made it into 10th place. They yeah, we got it done without a live scope. And I wish more anglers would feel that way, is that proving that even if technology is evolving and it costs a lot of money to have a live, I wish they wouldn't feel so defeated and just go in there and just do what they know best and try it and prove everybody wrong.
Also,
and that's where
it's a learning experience. You're going out, you're fishing your first event, right? Now, there was a point that I started fishing events, and I knew I had very little chance of competing. I didn't have down imaging. I didn't have side imaging. I had just a basic graph. I had a 16-foot boat. I had a 35 horse on it that I made at home, like a boat that I made at home. I had a 35 horse on it. We took a tin can and cut it apart and made a makeshift tournament boat that I fished out of for years. And you use these you got to think, some of these guys have been fishing this for a long time. And I mean, now I've won tournaments. I've finished in the money a lot of times. But you watched at the beginning of this live, everyone's seen there was a fish caught on that rod right there. There's no live scope. We don't have a live scope down. It's not always about going out and fishing a live scope. That was a 28-inch walleye that we caught. That's a giant tournament fish. So going out, you don't need live scopes to catch fish. It's going back to instinct. And I mean, in Matagami Spring, day 2, we found that the live scopes, the fish were so tight to bottom, they were really it hindered us enough on the wind that we probably would have won that tournament if we would have just stopped relying on our electronics and actually started to fish. So I mean, it's a blessing to have your lives and to have that. But I mean, also it could be your worst enemy on days. I've had it multiple times that I just shut it off, or I don't even put it in the water, and I'm doing I'm catching fish better than I would if I think I can see them, because and I going back to that Bassmaster Classic this year, where the Bassmaster Classic, the fish were so shallow and the fish were in structure, and live scope wasn't a factor. The guys that were just went back to fishing instincts and started pounding bank and pitching bank and doing their traditional ways is won that tournament, won the biggest tournament in the world, like the Bassmaster Classic. So relying solely on electronics isn't the way to go. There's going to be lots of events. 2 years ago, one was won in Kapuskasing. It was oh, why is it? I'm drawing a blank here. Guy and his girlfriend won and I could picture the boat. It's a
Jesse
60-foot.
and Lucia. Jesse and
Yes, 16-foot mirror craft with a 50 horse on it. They won
Yeah.
Kapuskasing during the championship. Like, there was no live scope. There was
No.
like still possible. It's you said earlier that like you're out of it. You have no chance. You have a chance. You catch 2 big fish a day. You're in it. It's that's what's beautiful about tournament fishing. You're never out of it. You just got to get out and go fishing. So that's what's cool about it.
Danny, I gotta ask you.
That's
Part of the mystique that I saw in the championship, and it's something that you left and have come back.
Yeah.
One of the things that I truly enjoyed up at the championship last year was seeing the variety of boats. Just to Nick's point, like, I mean, you didn't have to have necessarily a boat like yourself, Danny, and like Nick had. I saw pontoon boats. I saw tinners. I saw just about everything. And I have to say, and maybe you can agree, Dan, that is part of the mystique of the NOWT, is having these entry-level teams that have lots of knowledge fishing in these entry-level boats and competing and obviously doing well, as Nick just said.
Well, absolutely. Like when I started fishing tournaments, I was fishing in a 16-foot legend with a 60 on it, and in fact, I finished the top 7 in Sagamuk, or top 10 in Sagamuk in that boat. And we didn't have that technology either for our availability. And to kind of touch on what Crystel and Nick are going with, you still know how to fish. These are only tools that help us improve. But if you don't have those basic techniques and that know-how, or even the risk to do something like that, the tools aren't going to help you. They're just going to look at everything on your boat. At the end of the day, you still got to know that your instinct's going to tell you to do this. You have to understand your structure, break down your currents and whatever you're fishing at the time, your temperatures and stuff like that. And listening to people. We all talk. We all like to brag, and you'll listen to what we're talking about. We're leaving little nuggets of information, whether we know we're doing it or not. And everybody's got something important to say if you're listening.
100%. Couldn't friggin' agree more.
Mm-hmm.
Crystel, of all the tournaments that you've done with the NOWT, and I know Matagami shares a very big spot in your heart. Are there any other tournaments that you truly look forward to throughout the course of the season?
I love going to Breville because I am just there to help. So I love going there just with my car and and just me and just spending time with Chantal. But I do love Long Lac and Hearst. Of course, every tournament that I'm involved with, I am looking forward to it because seeing all the work we put into it. And Hearst is in my hometown, but Long Lac is just it's a being part of fishing tournaments, and I know anglers are going through that too. Is like you have a tournament family. So every year at every event, I'm meeting up with my team and our volunteers, and we're just so anxious to see each other and spend some time together. So it is a family. So every tournament I go, I've decided not to go at all tournament this year. I'm not going to be going in Geraldton or Sault Ste. Marie, and I'm fishing cap. So I'm just going to stick with the tournament I do. So I'm looking forward to all of them because everywhere is a different family. So
agreed.
Yeah.
Nick, before I ask you to step in and ask a question, because I see you're losing a bit of light behind you, I do have to ask. There is an elephant in the room, and it's not just me. When it comes to women,
Scottie, that was a terrible joke.
I'm glad you got it, Nick. It usually goes over everybody's head. When it comes to running a tournament, like, there is that misconception sometimes that women aren't as welcome to the angling community, and that is so wrong, as we see with GCFA, OWA, and a whole bunch of other women's groups. Women are just as accepted as men into this, but the one thing, it might be intimidating for a woman to think of even taking on a tournament like the MFN. You've got Chantel, you got Lua, you got Tyler, you've got Jess, yourself. Like, it's a core group that they call it the Fab Four down here in Toronto, but there's like the Fab five or six up in the North Country that are running the NOWT when it comes to event. And I have to say, is there any advice that you can give our lady friends out there that are perhaps teetering, kicking tires on perhaps holding an event like?
I'm actually not the proper person to answer this. Danny's got a lot of really close friends that are women tournament anglers. I've had the pleasure to meet them down at like the shows with Danny, but he's been out here fishing with them, and like they've done some filming with out on Lake Huron with Danny and whatnot. It's so Danny, if you want to take reins on that.
Well, just to kind of start things off, my tournament partner is my wife. I've only ever fished a tournament with my wife, and we've been very successful. In fact, Mary Lisa was one top female angler at the Fall Metogamy last year. So it's definitely from a sexist standpoint, I don't see that. I've been surrounded by very good female anglers, like people that I respect and I listen to, whether it's Ashley Ray or Ashley Casperson and stuff like that. They've earned their stripes, and they put their hard effort and their work into this. You respect what they're saying, and going back to everybody's got something good to say. A point is, it doesn't matter who you are, but from the NOWT standpoint and the tournaments I see, we have seen an increase. My wife and I really noticed it because we're always looking at a top female angler, like who is she competing against, kind of thing. And we do see that that's increasing, which is really exciting to see. And it's not just in husbands and wives. We're seeing daughters getting involved and younger people coming in. And there believes in Long Lac, there's always been an all-women's team fishing that event as well. So it's really good to see. I like it.
There was a woman angler that won a tournament this year. Mark's daughter, Mark and his daughter won Cap River last year.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. So and then exactly 2 years in a row, there's been a woman that's won. That's been won Cap River. So
and we're going to do it this year.
And to your point, Nick and Dan, I can't say enough about how things have changed because talking to Yvonne, talking to Heather from their two respective ladies groups, they've had some challenges. There's no doubt about it. The mindsets are changing. Men are obviously understanding that women are more than welcome to enjoy what we love, which when it comes to angling. But I'll tell you, when it comes to running a tournament, that's a whole different step. That's a whole different scenario. And Crystel, Jess, Chantal, Lua, Tyler, like you guys do a phenomenal job. But is it because of the team, or is it just you're so strong as individuals?
So of course, if I go back when I got in, one, I was afraid of Chantal and Donna because they're both women that if you're not happy, get the fuck out. So Donna was just, if you're not happy, just don't come back. So seeing how she was handling the situation, maybe it was maybe not the right way to say things, but this is what it is, and I'm the boss here. So Donna's was a really good example starting off. And then Chantal's been running the tournament forever. So I got to be with Chantal, and then the fact that every year you gain more confident of what you do. So by doing that, you are able to say, it is what it is. I work hard for this. This is how I want things to be done. And if It is what it is, but it takes a while to have a tough skin. Um, like you, and then you have to believe in what you do to be able to defend your points. For example, Nick, the way we do the top 5 in the arena, the way that the weighing station, and the we why are we bringing the fish in the weigh-in? So being able to know exactly how you're going to do things, you have to be well organized as well. If you're all over the place, you're not going to be able to hold your fort. That's for sure. So for me to be able to explain to Nick how it goes and give him other option and say, well, this and this and this, I've seen Nick's eyes. Oh, okay. He was like really like, no, I want this, but I'm like, no, this is not how it's gonna go. But it takes a while. But
In having that, your the way you operate and the way that you have control of a situation very quickly because you've earned the angler's respect. That's the biggest thing. So before that, and what she's talking about is the scale moves on from going from the weigh-in hall to up onto stage in the
no.
it was going up on the stage. So as anglers, we anglers tournament directors, we went together and we spoke about it. We had a conversation and we resolved it by not having the scale on stage. We had the scale on the concrete, and that was Crystel's idea. And it's knowing, having the confidence for her to be able to tell us, no, this is how we run the tournament. And it wasn't, I don't think it came down to that, but it was just having that
No.
confidence to come down to say, like, you know, this is how it is, or but also respect the angler's opinion and have us have the respect for you to agree with your opinion and agree and trust your opinion and your judgment, because that's the line that you skate, and it's such a fine line. And it's amazing how you can actually control an environment but maintain and discipline and maintain the respect of the anglers all at the same time. It's amazing the dance that you can do to create that perfect scenario where everyone's happy, and you know what, we walk away as being able to fish the best events in Canada.
Thank you, Nick. And it's for sure. It's always been, I'm not always right, and I will never be always right. So for me to be able to, even Scottie, you've seen it this week. I reached out to you. I'm like, okay, is it just me, or I want to know how you think? So I do go around and ask, and when I make a final decision, I did my research, and I am comfortable with the decision I make. And having Jessica and Dan and Larry and Aaliyah and Janelle this year being on board, it's all together we are able to just confirm how we see things. But as well, like you said, Nick, you're having, okay, well, not on the stage, I understand, yeah, let's do it on the concrete for sure. These are things that you have to be, but you just learn along the way. And if any woman wants to get involved in organizing fishing tournament, is just give you a chance to understand how it goes. Take your time, reach out, like Nick said, gain respect. You get respect if you give respect. I think you can't be too harsh. Meaning Donna and Chantal has been huge influence for me. Chantal, when she's in tournament mode, she's the most fair person I know. And knowing that, it just got me to do things differently in the weigh-in. Okay, this is not really fair, let's do this. So it's all over the place, but if anybody wants to join in, for sure, feel comfortable. And if there's something I should say about the NOWT and its community, which either the anglers or the host communities, is that there is a big respect in the NOWT all around, from volunteers to anglers to anybody. It's a big family, and if a woman wants to fish the tournament, people are going to be like, yes, come here. And you know what, we're going to tell you a few secrets just in case you want to, you want to do good. And that's what I've seen in the NOWTs. Everybody's welcome.
And that respect thing that sorry, Crystel, to cut you off, that respect thing I saw firsthand, and I've really seen it every time that I go up and are a part of MFN and NOWT, but I saw it firsthand in the teepee last year at the championship. One team, unfortunately, had to be disqualified, And as much as I wanted to go up and pat the back of those who won and were runner up, I also wanted to make sure that I reached out to that team that unfortunately did get disqualified, because they took it like champs. And it was a hard situation. It was awkward as heck being in the TP. And I'll tell you, your staff, yourself, and the team, I can't say enough. It was awesome. And I wish I could have taped that and used it as an example for every other tournament angler to follow. This is how you act. So well done.
Yes. And at the same time, I've seen anglers, there's a switch when 7 or 8 a.m. There's a switch in some people's head and they're like going crazy. I've seen guys yelling at me, and it is not acceptable, but I got to understand that when anglers are pressured or they are, you can't take everything seriously. So it happened that that team screamed, nah, 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 nah. I'm like, if you're not happy, just file in a protest form and we're going to deal with it. And I just left. I didn't want to get into it because I knew exactly that he was just mad at himself. And I did nothing about it. I was just waiting for the protest form. And every time that guy sees me, he's like, Crystel, I am so sorry again for my attitude. I should have never done that. But I just don't go around and this guy did that and I can't believe he did that. I understand. You have to understand that anglers are going through a lot of pressures, and there are a few things you are putting your duck skin and just let it slide, and some other stuff that are
and touching on that, it is a competition. We're all friends. We're all family. We're all a big group of great people. And but at the end of the day, we're there to compete. I know I'm a different guy when I'm competing. It's come weigh-in time after we cross that line and we're sitting waiting to weigh in. That switch comes off and then you're back to. But I'm doing everything in my power. I've mentioned it multiple times to Scottie. Like, I'm the best loser on the NOWT by far. I congratulate everyone, but I do everything in my power not to lose. So it's that just like you said, it's that switch. And I see we got Jessica on the line now. Hi, Jess.
Hi.
Hi.
Better late than never, right?
Absolutely. And you know what, Jess, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Sorry that, as busy as you are, I'm so glad that you took the time because this is all about the ladies and the ladies of MFN and NOWT. I can't say enough about you and the respect. We've been talking about it at great length. You walk into that TP, you walk into any room, and I'll tell you, if it doesn't matter who you are, if you've done something wrong, and you have any one of those 5 ladies that I just mentioned scowl at you, you're going to get some, and you better take it like a champ. And I'll have to say, based on what I've saw, everybody respects the heck out of what you guys do. And we really can't just thank you enough.
We'll be prepared again for another couple of weeks.
It's your catcher's mitt, Scottie. Yeah, okay, I get it, Jess. No problem. We were talking a little bit too about with Chief Chad when we featured the walleye hatchery. Can you give us an update about the walleye hatchery and where we're at with that? How many fish you've released? Some of the success stories, some of the things that were great takeaways from that facility.
Oh gosh. Okay. I haven't really done that in a few years. Well, not personally done it myself, but to actually know what's what. I don't know if they have done it this year, but in previous years, they've had, I think we have, I don't know if it's 6 or 12 cylinders where we're able to put like a big female, get all their eggs and then get the male, milk them, and I believe in one cylinder with a big female, there's roughly about 300,000 eggs. So I believe it takes about 21 days or so for the eggs to hatch. Then they'll swim up the tube, and then they'll go over like the water flow, and they'll go into like little tanks, and then they get released back into the water.
So we got Rain Man over here. That math guy just said, how much would you? 3.6 million. 3.6 million. In 12 cylinders. Oh, well, he might suck at math. We don't know, but it's close.
No, it is. And roughly those cylinders are bell jars, and they do roughly carry anywhere between 2 and 400,000 eggs. You're bang on, Jess, in regards to how it all evolves, how they swim out, how once the eggs hatched, they start absorbing your yolk sac. But needless to say, for all of the fish that are taken out of monogamy for weight and measurement, they're at 97, 98% go back in. And then on top of that, the hatchery is putting fish back into a system. I mean, it's a win-win everywhere you look.
Yes, absolutely.
From an Angus standpoint, at least, and we know that they really healthy fish through there. We know that must be the
100%. Well, folks, it is the NOWT Power Hour. Jess, is there anything else you wanted to mention, Jess, now that you're here? I don't want to run away too quickly.
Just basically, we look forward to seeing everybody again in just a few short weeks.
Already.
I know.
It's crazy. I asked Crystel earlier. I haven't asked Crystel this. I asked you, but what makes you guys want to do what you do? Like the amount of work that you put in just for us is incredible. Why? What started you into wanting to do these tournaments for the anglers?
Right, I didn't even answer that question. I'm sorry, Nick. Go, Jess. I have no answer to that. So.
You did.
In all honesty,
about the organization and whatnot. That was a perfect answer.
Oh, okay. Jess, why are we doing this?
Well, in all honesty, for me, starting this, so when my dad started the Monogami's tournament, 20-something years ago, helping him out with the tournaments and all that stuff, it kind of ignited a little something, but I was I don't know, 12 years old or something. So going on with Monogamy Recreation, we started doing that. And then when Monogamy Recreation, there was no more, they asked if I wanted to keep on doing it. The huge part at that time was to keep it going because my dad loved it and wanted to pretty much do the tournaments and keep it going for him. He was
So
the one
it's a family event.
Yeah.
Larry is a big part of the MFN fishing.
Oh yeah.
Big part.
Well,
So now it's basically it's for my husband Dan and for my dad. So those two are the reason why I pretty much have the passion to do it and to continue doing it.
That's amazing.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Well, Scottie, it's back to that family thing that we keep talking about at every live, and how much of a community we are. That you get Jessica's husband and dad want to fish the event, so she makes sure she organizes the best. And Crystel's in the same situation with Seb. It's pretty amazing. It just ties everything right together because these are volunteers. Everyone is a volunteer. We have all the tournament organizers. They're all volunteers. Everyone's doing this just to make us be able to come out and fish. That is the most incredible thing I've ever heard of. And again, I've mentioned it at every single live, and we'll do it again tonight. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, as tournament anglers, as people. My family watches the events. They follow through the lives, every part of it. It's bringing my family together to watch me compete through the lives. And thank you to every single one of you, every single tournament volunteer. Anyone puts 1 ounce of effort into these. Without you guys, we can't come out and do what we love to do. You guys mean the world to us.
Wow. I'll tell you, I don't know how to follow that. I certainly don't even know to add to it other than to say, Nick, fantastic job as always, dude. Danny, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. I love your input, and you are a calming effect. You and Nick are perfect together, absolutely perfect together, and obviously the live well is a true testament to that. Jess, even though you came in late, thanks so much for showing up. Thanks for all you do, as Nick says, and we're looking forward to seeing you up at MFN. Is there anything you need to tell people about Matagabi, about the upcoming tournament that perhaps is news that they may not know?
Well, it's definitely not going to be the same as in the fall. As that was our the championship tournament, so we're obviously downscaled. But if you haven't registered yet, register, get in before we're full.
Absolutely. And Crystel, as I can't, as a representative of CFN and everything that you and Sebastian have done, I can't thank you enough for representing our brand like you do, and just keep up the great work. I don't know where you get your energy sometimes. We're just glad you do.
Thank you. I think it's all this. It's all, I'm not doing anything for the credit. I think like I told Nick, there's no answer of why we're doing this, from wanting to be with our family, organize stuff for our family or for the anglers. And I think as a human being in life, we have to feel, we have to be part of something, and we have to fulfill passion, and I think tournament is our passion, and we feel at home doing fishing tournament. We see how anglers are happy, and overall it's just been a really exciting journey, and that I'm not ready to let go yet. So I don't know how long, because yes, it takes a lot of time, and I do have a business to run, but I have a really good team in all my fishing tournaments, so I was able to delegate and work better as a team member, because for a while I was taking on too much, and so now I think we have found a balance, and
That's awesome.
We're still going.
Well, we're glad you do. Nick, I look forward to next week with you and Danny. I'm not 100% where that will be. It's still up in the air right now, but any plans, any ideas that you got for next week?
I don't think I'll be in a boat, but hopefully I am.
Right
What's
on.
your smallest fish, Nick, in there? So what's your slot? I've been wanting to ask you, what's your slot size up there? What are you allowed to keep? For you, what is a small fish to keep?
We're fisher zone, so everybody's fished before to tag them up to Bannersburg with a specific zone 10. So this year they've implemented new regs, nothing over 18 inches.
Isn't there allowed anymore?
Sorry, I just tried to change the mic. It's my fault. Go ahead, Daddy. Sorry.
So in the river section itself, it's zone 10. So there's no overs anymore this year. That came in effect in January. So 18 inches or less, 46 centimeters. Currently, where we're fishing right now, this is zone 14. You're only allowed 2 walleye and nothing between 16 and 22 inches. You're allowed a combination of 2 that way or 2 unders.
Oh, wow.
And the fish is it's enormous. It's thriving. Like, we probably saw thousands of fish tonight. Like, it's mind-numbing how many fish around. There's smelt, Cisco. There's all kinds of things in the system like that. And actually, the slot came in, I would say maybe 10, 15 years ago, and I personally noticed it increase as a direct result of that. So.
Right on. Well, as the sun sets, it does so on yet another show for the NOWT Power Hour. Thanks to everyone who showed up, all of our audience, great comments, questions, and of course the panel. Danny, Nick, Crystel, Jess, I can't thank you enough. We will see you in just a couple weeks.
I know.
Great.
Yeah, baby.
Bye.
Mercury Outboards, set the water on fire. Prince Craft Boats, celebrating 70 years of boating. J&B Superstore, your adventure awaits. Rackspin, making the outdoors more fun. Eastview Chevrolet to get you there. And Garmin to get you home. And of course, all these generous sponsors. This has been an NOWT